Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the program. Now it's the last segment, and that means it's a tribute to Muslim broadcasters in South Africa. And we welcome our viewers on Facebook, and today joining us on YouTube as well, the Salam Media channel. The tribute to Muslim broadcasters is inspired by Ibrahim Kangat, Rahmatullah alayh, as you may know, a presenter in his early days at Radio Islam, Channel Islam, and then finally the broadcast waves of Salam Media in the last few years of his life. A Muslim voice in the media world, a legend, and has always been putting forward the cause of the oppressed and those people who are the downtrodden of society. And it is keeping this in mind that we ask every single person out there to remember Ibrahim Kangat, rahmatullah alayh, in their du'as during this month of Ramadan. My guest today is none other than the founder of Sirius FM on the East Rand. He is also very well known for his popular Suhoor show during the month of Ramadan at Channel Islam International, none other than Mr. Fazel Asmal. And he joins us now on the video stream. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks for having us, Azhar.
It's wonderful having you on as well, Brother Faisal. Now, let's start off with your history as a presenter. Where did it all begin? Where did the life of media and broadcasting start for you?
It started when Channel Islam was incepted in about 2001. And I was just between businesses. I had a business prior to that, which I just closed. And I was thinking of doing something else. And shukr alhamdulillah, I was granted that opportunity with CII, and I joined them. And I got most of my training from, I must say, and I've really been trained by the best people at CII. And it's really been a wonderful journey with them. So that's where it started, Azhar.
The early days of CII must have been quite amazing. I remember, in 2001, I was still very young, but it was the World Trade Centers had been attacked, and the buildings we saw on television collapsing, and then there was the invasion of Afghanistan. Were you in the heart of all of that news production and those broadcasts at those times?
Yes, exactly. When Channel Islam International started, they were in Lenasia, in Thamesbox Street, near the Steers restaurant there. And when I started there were very few, that were at the time. It was mainly, people like Rana Musa Laher, and if I can just remember, like Mufti AK was there, and the names, I seem to, but there were not too many people, Said Amir, etc. But it's really interesting. It was really nice, and Umar Farooq Hussein as well as Ashraf Sidat, and they really, I was with them in the early days. It was really nice. It was good.
Yeah, I can imagine what it was at the onset of a new radio station back in the year 2000, 2001, with all of this world and global news. And suddenly, Muslims found themselves at the center of the news cycle. We may have been, an unknown or backwards or back end kind of story for the years prior to that. But with 9/11, it really projected the Muslim world to the fore. And then we obviously had the invasion of Iraq thereafter. The second invasion took place in 2003. And I believe Channel Islam came into its own light in all of these experiences as a satellite broadcaster all around the world. Uh, the challenges that you faced at that time, the type of technologies that were available, the platforms that were being used, but still managing to get your voice out. What were some of those challenges?
When we started way back then, we were broadcasting on a satellite radio, and it was something new. A little radio, a satellite receiver with a small dish. So, explaining to the listeners and how to connect it, how to get to the satellite, those kind of things. That was quite challenging. But apart from that, I think the technology was quite good. It was quite good. We had a
Mhm.
lot. We had a lot of fun.
I can imagine. I've heard some of those legendary stories in the newsroom of CII, even in my days, that that I was there. Really an amazing place to have been, I can suppose, in those early days. Uh, then you went on to, along while you continued your presenting and hosting shows on CII as well. But you then took the bold step of getting a radio frequency for yourself from Springs on the East Rand here in the Gauteng province of South Africa.
Yes, while I was I was still a part-time presenter with CII. About, let's say, about 14, 15 years after being with CII, and of course I did make mention to the directors that I'm also pursuing a little radio station of my own, just in the East Rand, and I managed to get the license for just the Springs area, a commercial radio station in the Springs area, and started the radio station with good collaboration with them. And I also kept on doing my programs with them. So subsequently, after about a year or two, I got the frequency range, extended the area that we were broadcasting in, and we managed to, get the license to broadcast in the whole of the East End, which is now known as Ekuleni. But Shukr Alhamdulillah, right up till today, I still have really very good relationships with them. Before I continue, I just want to say something that, there were three people that stood out at CII. CII's Channel Islam International, that really helped me in my career. The first one was Ashraf Sidat. He was very, very patient. He stood with me behind the microphone and taught me really how to speak. The second person was Umar Farooq Hussein. He used to give me a lot of coaching. We had a lot of seminars. We used to go to seminars with them, and they really kept us going. And thirdly was Shamshir Khan, who is now with Salam Media. A very silent person, never used to speak much, but when he spoke, you listened. So with those, with the teaching that I got from those three people, Shukr, I'm forever grateful to them that it turned out the way it's turned out. And up till today, I think our relationship is really in a very good state, inshallah.
Going out on your own into Sirius FM and getting all of that technology, putting it up, opening up the radio station, broadcasting on the mainstream radio waves. That must have been also quite a challenge for you.
It was quite a challenge, mainly, like financially, it was quite a big investment. And Shukr, we managed to we managed to get started, and we got a little studio in Springs, and we got our transport site going. But on the whole, we've been running now for about 6 or 7 years now, and it's just been a wonderful journey. We've got really great listeners. We've got really good presenters that come on board to help us. We got good working relationships with all the other Islamic media stations. We always help. That always help out. And late brother. I'm just thinking about late brother Ibrahim Gangat. He was also at our studio. He even came. He came quite a few times to my house as well. We spent quite a lot of time together. And because this tribute is more about him, and to honor his memory actually. I want to say that he was really an inspirational person, and he was really quite a, you know, he was a firebrand. Let's put it that way. He was out of this world. I've never met someone so dedicated and passionate like him.
Absolutely, I can't agree with you more on that one. Completely dedicated and passionate. From here onwards, we are in tough economic times right now. Media houses, if you watch the television screens, Caxton newspapers, and mainstream media, and everybody seems to be in a bit of a challenge with the virus that we have and the economic situations that we have. What are some of your advice, being now, I mean, over 20 years in the media field and with heaps and heaps of business acumen and knowledge? How would you advise media stations, broadcasters, newspapers to take on the challenge and go forward?
I would say. Azhar, the focus of our radio station, uh, and this is the vision that I have, is that in our listenership area, which is in the East Range, we like to concentrate more on the problems that we are having. Like even before the pandemic, we're talking of things like domestic violence, poverty, uh, mental health issues, teenage pregnancies, suicides. Uh, there's so many social ills. Crime is also another thing. And what we tend to focus more on getting the information out there to try and make it better for our community. Even as far as food security is concerned, for example, like farming practices, we talk about things like that. People who've got suicidal tendencies, domestic violence, like as I mentioned, drug abuse, especially, is really rife in our community. And those are the main areas of focus, for us. And secondary to that, obviously, is to calling to, the people towards the deen of Allah Ta'ala, by way of, giving them reminders, playing the sheets, nazams, etc. And, getting them also spiritually, jacked up as well with the ulama that we have. We've got some really great ulama that's on our team as well, who come in, regularly to speak to the people. And as far as like the experts that we get to speak to people on things like crime, domestic violence, poverty, those kind of things, also we try and get the experts in. At the South African depression and anxiety group, we get people like that in. We've got a young lady, very clued up in medical fields, etc. So I'm saying, besides all these areas that we concentrate on, remember, we are just like a conduit. We are just to get the information out to the people and share it with the people, and to interact with the people.
mm, mm.
And I also say that business has got a responsibility as well to take, to support these social, problem initiatives to make the lives of our people better. Because the main focus and the main aim of our radio station, and which I advise everyone else also, is to, to make the lives of our people in the area of broadcast better. That's
Right.
what it
Absolutely. Yes,
is.
and business does have that responsibility to board and contribute and keep these kinds of institutions running. Jazakallah khairan,
Yeah.
Brother Fazel Asmal, the founder of Sirius FM and presenter on CII. You've been a wonderful, wonderful personality over the years. May Allah continue to take you from strength to strength and continue serving our communities. You go well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah, sir.
Yes, that brings us to the end of today's program. We hope you enjoyed it. All of it is available as a podcast on our Facebook page immediately. From me, Azhar Vadi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.